Good afternoon, it's your boy Chili Chill. Welcome back for another episode of How to Catch Striped Bass. Today I'm going to show you guys how to find the striped bass in the San Francisco Bay Area or in any body of water that you know holds stripers. I'm going to show you guys my tips and tricks and my strategy and what I look for when I try to locate the school. I got my G Loomis IMX Pro Blue today, 7.6 medium power, fast action. Paired it with my Stella C5000 FK. This has 40-pound Power Pro Super Slick version 2 on there. Let's go ahead and get a first cast out there. Or actually, this is what I'm throwing, starting the day off with the chili jig. 1.5 ounce gold blank, dark green hologram with a nice trailer. Starting this off because this thing casts a mile, and best way to find stripers is to cast as far as you can. Let's get a first cast out there. Oh yeah, that thing launches. The first thing you want to look for when you're looking for the school is water conditions. Take a look at the water clarity, the strength of the tide, how high the tide is going to be. All of that plays a factor on if you can locate the school. Versus dirty water. Like right now I have some dirty water in front of me with some cleaner water behind it. But in dirty water, it's harder for the stripers to hunt. It's harder for them to breathe in. Harder for them to hold in. Normally, if the water is looking like chocolate milk or very muddy, it's not going to be striped bass held there. There might be a few fish that swim in and out, but it won't be a school sitting there. So first thing you want to look for is good water clarity. Also the tide strength, how much current is coming in, if it's going to be a strong current or a weak current. Right now I do have some dirty water, but I'm hoping that as the tide comes in, that all of this is going to clear up a little bit. If there's a strong current going into somewhere, like for example, we have an inlet right here, and there's a strong current pushing into the inlet, you want to fish where the current breaks. So right now, if a current is pushing into that inlet, that means on the side of it, on both sides, there's a current break. And stripers will tend to hold in that less turbulent water, and they like to hide there and wait for something to swim by, and then they can ambush it. There's like a rocky outcrop in the middle of the water that you know about on low tide, and then when high tide happens, it gets submerged. Then you know behind that rock there is a little bit of a current break, so you want to fish behind that rock where the current is not against, you know. Same thing goes with anything that's in the water, like a rocky outcrop or a sunken boat. If there's any kind of structure in the water, stripers will tend to hold behind that structure when the current is rushing against it. Same thing with inlets and outlets. If the water is pushing out like a river, you want to fish on the side of it. Eventually, the best thing you can do to locate the school is to move around. So I've been casting here at the same spot for about 20 minutes, maybe 25 minutes. I did get one bite and did lose one fish, but there hasn't been any more activity since. So I'm going to move. You have to keep on the move just like the stripers, and then eventually you'll run into them. Or hopefully you'll run into them. Typically when you're fishing the shoreline, where there's a lot of inlets and outlets from creeks, those are key areas that you want to focus on, because all those inlets and creeks, those are all where the bait fish hang out. All the bait fish, they like to hang out in those marshes, in those back creeks, those back bays, and the stripers know it. So the stripers will actually hang out around those inlets and outlets. And also points. Now you see there's a point right there. Points are always good to fish at. You can always throw a little further since you're on a point, but if you look at a point and there's a current going side to side, it actually wraps around the point. So you want to fish the side of the point where the water is less turbulent, where the water is kind of ebbing. That's where you want to throw your lure, in that area. But generally speaking, if you come up to a point, I know it's tempting to cast straight out into the deep, but it's actually better to cast to the side of the point. That way you can work the shoreline more. I haven't caught a fish yet, but I did get bit a few times. I had one on that got off. Felt like a baby. But yeah, we're still searching. Alright, it's been about 20-25 minutes. Move again. Alright, another inlet right here. Go ahead and give it a shot. Another way to find the fish is to look for people. If you see any anglers, more than likely they're catching fish or in a spot where they caught fish before. So that's another way of locating the fish, by looking for other anglers and then kind of spying on them and seeing what they're catching. Alright, it's been about 20 minutes. Let's go ahead and move again. Alright guys, I'm on this point. Been trying for a while. Haven't got any more bites. Conditions are getting worse. Real windy. Water's pretty dirty. It's only like 20 feet in front of me and dirty though. But yeah, there's just no fish. Sometimes there's no school, you know. You can search and search, do what you gotta do, and sometimes there's just no fish. A bunch of people fishing over here though. Another inlet. It looks pretty big. Might be some stripers in there. Let's give it a shot. The best way to find the school is to just get your line in the water. That's first and foremost, you know. You're never gonna know what's going on down there until you get a lure in there. Everything might look good, but until you throw your lure in there, you have no idea what's really going on. Not a lot of fish out here today, you guys. I've only hooked up one, lost it. I think I got bit maybe twice, maybe 3 times. But we're gonna keep going. Let's go over there. That looks pretty good. Alright guys, I've been out here looking for the bass for about 3 hours. No luck. I might hit a couple spots on the way back to the car, but the conditions have gotten pretty rough. It's pretty windy. The water clarity is not that great, and I just don't think there's stripers out here today. But if you use my tips and tricks on how to find striped bass, you will find them. Just not today over here. But most places you can find them if you follow my tips and tricks. But until the next video, you guys, peace out.